On a freezing Christmas Eve, a teenage boy pedals through the biting wind, unaware that before the sun rises, his courage will be tested in a way that will change his life, and someone else's, forever. But when a black limousine appears at his doorstep the next morning, the truth behind what he did will leave you speechless. The snow fell in thick, silent sheets that blanketed the small town of Maplewood. Streetlights flickered against the frost, painting halos of orange light on the icy pavement. 14-year-old Jordan Wells gripped the handlebars of his dented bicycle, his breath coming out in clouds. His hands ached from the cold, but he pushed on, the sound of his tires crunching on ice echoing down empty streets. He wasn't delivering newspapers just for pocket change, this job was survival. His mother, Evelyn Wells, worked double shifts at the corner store, and his 6-year-old brother Noah still believed Santa could fix everything. But this year, their heater barely worked, and the bills on the table were heavier than any Christmas gift they could afford. As Jordan tossed papers onto porches, he found warmth only in the flicker of family faces behind fogged windows, a glimpse of what he wished they had. When he finally reached home, his mother greeted him with weary eyes and a tired smile. The house smelled faintly of instant coffee and toast. Noah sat on the floor, trying to fix a broken toy truck with duct tape. Jordan knelt beside him, pretending not to see the small tear in his brother's mitten. "You'll fix it, buddy," Jordan said softly, patting his head. "You always do. You think Santa will bring us something this year?" Noah asked. Jordan hesitated. "Maybe. But even if he doesn't, we've still got each other." Evelyn smiled faintly. Her son had grown up too fast. But outside, beyond their little kitchen window, the wind howled, a warning that the night was far from over. Jordan thought his night was over. But just a few streets away, an abandoned building hid a desperate voice that would soon change everything. The town slept under a blanket of frost. Only the sound of Jordan's bicycle chain cut through the silence as he rode down the last street of his route. Then, faintly, "Help. Someone help." He froze. The sound came again, weaker this time. Jordan scanned the snow-covered street until his eyes landed on the old McKinley building, long abandoned after a fire years ago. Its windows were cracked, its doors sagging. Every instinct told him to leave. But that voice, it wasn't just panic. It was pain. He dropped his bike and stepped inside. The air was damp and heavy, the scent of mold strong. "Hello?" he called. "Over here," came the faint cry. Jordan followed the sound until he reached a rusted elevator at the end of a dark hallway. The doors were half open, revealing an elderly man trapped between floors. His leg was caught, his face pale. "Please," the man rasped, "it's slipping, please hurry." "Hang on, sir," Jordan shouted, rushing forward. He tried prying the doors open, but they wouldn't budge. He called 911, his hands trembling as he gave the location. The dispatcher's voice came through the static. "We've dispatched help, but the roads are frozen. It'll take time." Time. The one thing they didn't have. Jordan looked back at the trembling man. "What's your name?" he asked. "Thomas. Thomas Blake." "I'm Jordan. I'm not leaving you." The elevator groaned. Metal screamed. A cable snapped above. Jordan's pulse raced. He grabbed a rusted pipe and jammed it into the doors, forcing them wider. "Try to move back, Mr. Blake." "I can't. My leg." The building shook. A ceiling tile crashed beside him. Jordan's heart pounded as he wedged himself against the frame, pulling with every ounce of strength he had. Thomas cried out in pain, but the gap widened, enough for Jordan to grab his arm. "Now, Mr. Blake. Grab my hand." With one last surge, Jordan pulled him free just as the elevator plunged into darkness below. The sound echoed like thunder through the building. Both collapsed to the floor, gasping in disbelief. Snowflakes drifted through the cracked ceiling, settling on the old man's trembling hand. You saved my life, Thomas whispered. Jordan smiled weakly. Merry Christmas, sir. Jordan had no idea that the man he just saved was someone whose name carried power, wealth, and secrets that would soon arrive at his doorstep. The next morning dawned soft and gray. The house smelled of coffee again, and for once, Evelyn's shoulders weren't so heavy. Jordan sat quietly at the table, replaying the night in his mind. The old man's face, the falling elevator, it all felt like a dream. Then came the sound of an engine outside. Not just any engine, smooth, deep, expensive. Noah ran to the window. Jordan. There's a fancy car outside. Jordan looked. A sleek black limousine gleamed against the snow. Neighbors peeked through curtains. The door opened, and out stepped Thomas Blake, dressed in an elegant coat, his cane tapping the pavement. Beside him stood a tall man in a tailored suit. Evelyn froze. Who on earth? There was a knock. When she opened the door, Thomas smiled kindly. Good morning, Mrs. Wells. I'm Thomas Blake. Your son saved my life last night. Evelyn's eyes widened. You're that man? Thomas nodded. Yes. And this is my son, Ethan. Ethan stepped forward, his tone calm and respectful. Your boy did something extraordinary. Most adults would have walked away. He didn't. When he reached home, Noah ran to him, waving the fixed toy truck proudly. Look, Jordan. It works. Jordan smiled, kneeling down. So do dreams, buddy. You just have to believe enough to fix them. Outside, the snow continued to fall, each flake glinting like a silent promise, that even in the coldest nights, one act of courage can light up an entire world. Sometimes heroes don't wear capes or stand on stages. Sometimes, they're just kids on paper routes, who choose to stop, listen, and save someone when no one else would. Because true courage isn't about strength. It's about heart. Red heart.